I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit.
I'm about to drop some hugely powerful alpha. And that's what they call it. They call it alpha, believe me. Okay? And not many people know this, but alpha means that I know big things, strong things, powerful things. So here's the alpha, folks. If you want to be hugely rich like me, you got to join and subscribe to the BLEEVESCRYPTO YouTube channel. You got to become a member because many people say, quite frankly, it's the strongest YouTube channel out there. It's fantastic. It's the best. So let me know what you think, folks. Funny Donald Duck.
I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 Lady, and I got my shine. Money in my pocket and we're feeling fine. Radio's loud and we're playing Sublime. I think it's gonna be a good day, my oh my. I can't believe I made it this far, it's a miracle. Floating in the clouds now, used to be miserable. Never looking back since I changed my ways. I'm on that good life tip today. I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining like diamonds and pearls. I want you to go there with me, girl. I'm looking for the good life, good life. Baby, we can have it all. We can make love out of waterfalls. I'm living that good life after all. Yeah. La da da da, good life, sitting by the fire. La da day, good life, feeling that breeze.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Bleeves. Welcome to Breakfast with Bleeves. We are checking out this crypto market, and we're going to find out whether or not today we're going to pump or we're not going to pump. And today is the last day of the month, by the way, for anybody who is keeping track. And either we are going to have a massive vaulted run, and it's going to go out of its mind. It's either going to go absolutely crazy, or since David Gokhshtein did not agree to his bet, wager, if you will, since he never agreed to it, then $30,000 of circulating supply vault is about to be burned. And that doesn't include any of the things that were happening before. Now, if you remember my conspiracy theory from last week, when I said that Voltoshi was probably holding back a few bullets in the gun, so to speak, because he wanted to do that to David Gokhshtein, so that David Gokhshtein looked at it and said, oh my God, I can't believe that this just happened. I still feel that way. I still feel that way. I got a feeling that there's a point, that there is a method to the madness that, you know, listen, here's the thing. Knowing how these things work, right? These exchanges that he's got in the pipeline could list at any time, right? All he has to do is say, okay, I'm ready. And then they will start this onboarding process, right? So something is going on. There's some kind of, whatever it is about to get really big. Now, I think that we should probably start doing some math and some calculation, because there is a number here that I feel like I'm probably missing. There's something along the way here that I don't know. Like, you know, what's the time frame for SHIB hitting all-time high? You know, what was the date? What was the number of days? Is it very close to right now based on the time that Volt launched? There's got to be something going on. So I'm going to be watching, and I'm going to look, when I get done with this, I'm going to be looking at that and trying to figure it out, as a matter of fact, because now it's driving me absolutely crazy. But anyway, so the rest of the market, let's talk about what's going on. So we've got some of this stuff just doesn't make any sense, right? We got plenty of news that's going on, but since we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to find a couple of good conspiracy theories, we're going to go over those today as well. So first of all, we're going to start with the pre-markets. Positive, up 77.5 and 15.5. So we'll be looking for at least the start of a positive day. on the Dow Jones. So that would lend itself into some positive flow into the cryptocurrency market. Now, when we look at the cryptocurrency market, we're down 1.67% on Ethereum, 1.34% on Bitcoin, 23.4 and 16.34. Now, when you hit the 24-hour, you're not really seeing any of that big move that we saw in the last couple of days, but you are still seeing a little bit of an elevated. Casper, Immutable X, SNX, and Ajax are all making a move. And Immutable has something going on, something big going on that is supposed to happen today that we're going to see. I don't know if it has anything to do with WAGMI, by the way, but FOMO is starting to build, and we'll look at the chart, but you're starting to see a little bit of that FOMO in WAGMI starting to build. So I think that might represent something good going on. So with that, let's get into chat. Justin W, good morning. Ben Farrer, good morning. MDK 420, good morning. Tony P in the house. Stephen Blaylock's here. Maddie B, Cash Kotz, Meat is here. Dalton Wingler, Juice is here. Ryan Lee, Jeff T, Crypto Stevo, DoobieTube, Daniel Volt is here. There's a lot of lightning going on this morning. Dopey Dude's in the house. Richard Goodall with the lightning bolts. Farmada lighting it up. Scottish Crypto is in the house. Justin Hultman's here. The New Moon Crawley. Ooh, that scares me, man. Whatever that name is, man, it scares me. Cryptoholic is in the house. G-Man is here. Steve Jones is in the house. Wait a minute. Everything other than Bitcoin and SEC. Richie's Plain Talk. What's going on? Richie's Plain Talk, by the way, for those of you that don't know, thank you so much, Richie. Yesterday, he donated 10 memberships to members of the community. So thank you so much for that. Toby One Kenobi, what is going on, my man? Local 420, smoking it. Are we allowed to say that? I don't know. CEO 100 is bringing that bull run life to you. Gravedigger Tools is in the house. The Husky of Wall Street is here. Ryo is here. Philip Toussaint is here. And Jack Johnson is here with some of those smooth acoustic jams, I assume. What is going on, Volt Army? So as we look at the crypto market, we're going to do a little bit of analysis, by the way. But I wanted to show you that we did have this kind of retracement over the last hour, and then when the clock flipped, we're getting started on a red candle, but it's not too much. So I think that I think that we might have the makings of a pump, but that would just be a guess and me projecting at this point. Good morning, Renga Ape Club. So we're going to see how this plays out. Now you can see here this 1.032 line has been acting as resistance for a little while. That's kind of a bad sign because you see it right here, you see it right here, you see it right here. We seem to be just kind of being held back for a little bit on this line. Now, if you remember yesterday, we got in and we had pumped and it was over 140. We were up at this 144. Everything was feeling good. And then the American market just dumped on everything because, what can I say other than the American market is just a bunch of weak paper-handed hoes at this point, and that's fine. You can be that because I'm a weak-handed American, and you can't really argue with it because you've seen their hands, right? Small, So maybe we'll see something happen, but I don't even think I said that right. I think my brain just went too fast. I don't even know if I said that right. Anyway, so we'll see what happens here very soon. But let's move on to news. Crypto broker Voyager Digital. By the way, we're doing this because let's go over here to Ethereum because some dirty little dingbat over here sold a whole bunch of Ethereum. Now, I wonder who that could be. Voyager Digital sends 121 million in crypto to exchanges, sells Ethereum and Shiba Inu. And what do we see happen over here? We saw Shiba sell even bigger than we saw Bitcoin sell off. And then we had the same thing happening on SHIB too, right? So maybe it was Voyager Digital being the weak-handed company that it is, obviously, selling off. Maybe that's what it was that started all of this that was going on and that was happening. So, we'll just keep that in mind as we move on. But the blockchain transaction data by Arkham Intelligence shows that Voyager Digital transferred some 121 million of crypto assets to exchanges in February and received some 150 million in USDC stablecoins in the last 4 days. So, maybe it wasn't yesterday, maybe it was a little bit longer, but you see here, these are a couple days ago, and you're seeing 10, 20, 25 million just recently. So there was a lot of transactions that were happening over here. Now, because they are in bankruptcy, this has got to be with they've got to be able with the bankruptcy proceeding. Sit right here. Voyager halted trading and filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. As part of the court's proceeding, it agreed to sell its Binance.us. It agreed to sell itself to Binance.us after an auction. The Federal Reserve and state regulators' concerns have mounted around the deal, including the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission probing Voyager VGX token as an unregistered security. The crypto broker recent maneuver may also foreshadow selling pressure for the cryptocurrencies that are among the firm's largest holding, notably ETH and SHIB. So maybe they're just watching the market, trying to make sure that they have valuation through this bankruptcy court, because let's face it, when you file bankruptcy and you're bankrupting on cryptocurrency, well, you're not bankrupting on money, right? There's actual money owed, and you have to figure out ways in order to recover some of the money. So that's what they're doing, and they're allowed to do that and sell it on exchanges. Bankruptcy court is not going to stop you from liquidating assets in order to make sure that you have cash on hand in order to make some deals. So especially when it doesn't understand what it's doing. So, but let's move on from there. Bank of America, crypto with utility may oust meme tokens in 2023. So at this point, I think we should just say rest in peace to all meme coins, I guess, because utility, crypto with utility is going to oust everything. Tokens that provide utility and a call on cash flow outperforming meme and governance tokens. Well, I mean, listen, for Bank of America, here's what I can say. No shit. It's always been the case. It's always been like that. It's been like that every day since the beginning of time. You don't understand meme coins and you should stop talking about it, most probably. But that's just a guess, and that's just me. Price divergence is often a bullish indication as it marks the end of a downtrend. The entire globe is aware of the slump the cryptocurrency industry was in throughout the past year. However, the big cap assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum are strongly impacted by macroeconomic factors. Strong economic indicators have pushed the timing of a recession, but they also suggest the possibility for reflation and future rate hikes. So, look, meme tokens always run because this is how it is, and meme tokens are part of the utility tokens. Like if you just step back and say, okay, let's just put it out here for these idiots, right? Volt started off as a meme coin, now has multiple utilities. Is it a utility now? Shiba Inu now has a game involved and a swap involved. Is that a utility? Is that the reason? Because it's still a meme coin. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I don't think they understand this market, and I think they're doing their best, probably, or they're doing their goodest, as they would probably say at Bank of America. We're doing our goodest, but we think something's going on, or whatever it is that they say. But whatever they say is probably stupid. So I get this feeling that they have no idea what's going on. So let's move on from there and just say that I meme tokens are gonna be just fine. Now, this is a 9-point. This is 9 reasons that Charles Edwards, who has 104,000 followers, he is a quant trading Bitcoin and crypto 24/7, founder of Capriole Fund. One objective: outperform Bitcoin. Tweets are not investment advice, but he gives in this thread 9 different reasons that he thinks that we are at the start of the bull market for Bitcoin. Number 1, we exited a period of multi-month deep value as defined by many on-chain metrics, including trading at its technical cost of 2 months ending. Historically, this is the global price floor for Bitcoin and was the second longest time spent at the electrical cost in Bitcoin history. Number 2, we eclipsed the price collapse of a top 3 fraud in human history in just 2 months. Now, remember, what we're talking about is the collapse of FTX, which was the November high, and we've already recovered from the November, from those December lows, and are back above where we were trading in November before the collapse of FTX. This proved there was very few marginal sellers left, and the level of deep value was too much to maintain prices that cheap for long. Number 3, we saw a major technical price confirmation at the most important price level on the Bitcoin chart. The 20K breakout represents the 2017 all-time high, the FTX collapse, the critical order block level, the round number support, and the price mining that becomes unprofitable, right? So we're above 20,000. Number 4, we witnessed a 40% short squeeze with identical characteristics to the 2021 China mining ban Bitcoin price bottom. Number 5, we entered a new regime of upward momentum confirmed by multiple long-term moving averages commonly referenced in traditional markets, crossing bullishly. Take your pick. Almost all daily averages are curving up now. Number 6, we are at optimal halving cycle timing where Bitcoin typically bottoms, which is quarter 4 of 2022 and quarter 1 of 2023. Like clockwork, Bitcoin has bottomed in the windows prior to every halving in the past 12 to 18 months. And here we are. Number 7, the Bitcoin cycle drawdown typically hits 80% levels. These levels of discount don't come often and represent a significant period of economic pain and washout in the industry. At the end of 2022, sentiment was at its worst and the market hedging at its highest on record. And number 9, we're approaching a macroeconomic regime change. 2023 will likely see a Fed rate pause and a change of policy. Rates have trended down every time inflation has dropped. Now, the one part that you can really argue about is that one right there. We probably will not see a Fed rate pause, or at least we'll see a little bit more quantitative tightening before we see that pause. So by the end of the year, maybe they'll agree that it's enough. And by the way, yesterday, while we're on that subject, everybody was talking about, and here's what the quote was: Fed rate respondent sees recession in the second half of 2013. Now, if you're listening to me and you're hearing that, what did you hear? You're hearing, well, the Fed just said we're going to have a recession in the second half of 2023, right? But that's not what happened. What happened was a Fed respondent. Look, if okay, let me show you what a respondent is. All right. We exited this, right? Cool. I'm a respondent to this thread now. That's all I had to do. That makes me a respondent to this thread. So when you're making these crazy ass nonsense things here, just remember that being a Fed respondent, and listen, not everybody is a Fed respondent, by the way. I'm not saying that just be, I don't qualify. I qualify as a respondent here, but not as a Fed respondent. But I mean, really think about that. Like, it's just absolutely bonkers that people are saying, oh, well, yeah, I mean, if this guy said it, then it must be true. And it's like the Fed saying it themselves. It's not. It's just a bunch of opinion that this one dude who has this one company who gets to post on their website as a responder says. Like, it's just nonsense. And it turned into a story, and it turned into some kind of this thriving article. So now we got to move on from that, because now these guys are annoying the shit out of me. But anyway, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, or at least this guy's going to be the first person to recognize it. Now, a little bit more, because guess what? You can never get away from Terra Luna and the events of the repegging. And guess what? One of the people has been discovered. So I'm going to go through this thread real quick, and you guys are going to know now who it was that was involved and how they figured out they were involved. So many post-mortems after the Terra events have focused on Wallet A, which played a large role in UST depegging. Wallet A swapped 85 million UST for USDC and imbalanced the UST 3 CRV curve pool. There is a good chance this wallet is related to the Jane Street Group. Jane Street Group is a global trading firm and liquidity provider with a unique focus on technology and collaborative problem solving. Now, here's what happens. On May 3rd, 2022, Clearpool announces that Jane Street borrowed 25 million USDC from Block Tower using their permissioned lending pool. This news made it possible for Identity 3 addresses of the trading firm, of which we are most interested in only one. So here is Clearpool launching its permission lending pool in partnership with the Jane Street Group. The pool has been initially funded with 25 million USDC, right? Well, that gives them the address for Jane Pool. So within 2 weeks of Terra's collapse, this address received 15 million and repaid them along with an additional 10 million to the lender without any use, invested 150K in tonic decks, and then borrowed 25 million again and deposited them to a very interesting Coinbase wallet. Before receiving 25 million from Jane Street, this Coinbase wallet received 84.5 million USDC from the UST depegger after the fateful swap. This wallet didn't have any other interactions other than the two mentioned deposits. Therefore, they are highly likely to belong to the same entity. This adds additional color to rumors that Jane Street participated in the theoretical Terra bailout. The details I've heard about this might not be final. This is May 10. It says Jump, Celsius, and Jane Street committed already. Alameda, not yet, targeting $1.5 billion raised, 50% discount on Luna spot with 1 year lock, monthly linear vest over 1 year, and total of 700 million in commitments as of morning for the Twitter, right? So there was this rumor going around. 6 of 7. For example, Celsius owned Wallet B, which dumped an additional 100 million in 4 transactions, further imbalancing the pool. In Celsius' case, asking for participation made sense as they were one of the big lenders on Anchor. And number 7, in the case of Celsius, it's unlikely that they attacked Terra, which printed money for them. Given that Wallet A had their UST on Anchor for a month, it wouldn't necessarily mean that Jane Street had malicious intent. However, we'd love to hear from Wallet A from them. So there you have it. They're the reason that all this shit happened. That's crazy. That's absolutely out of its mind. But at least now we have, quote unquote, the smoking gun. So we know that Jane Street was part of it. And we know that there were 3 wallets, right? Jump, Celsius, and Jane Street. Now, we don't have confirmation on Jump. We have reasonable confirmation here on Wallet B, Celsius. And then we have Wallet A is Jane Street. So we don't know whether Jump is the company, but it makes sense now, seeing as they were the ones that were making a lot of moves, and that Wallet A, Jane Street, was the one that actually destabilized. That doesn't mean, again, as they're saying right here, doesn't mean that they were malicious in their intent. It just means that they were the ones that made the move that screwed everything up. So they were the house of cards that caused everything to fall. And I just wonder when they found out that they did that, they looked at Do Kwon and said, "Did I do that?" All right, moving on. All right, guys, MasterCard and Visa set crypto plans on hold amid market decline, and it looks like they're putting their plans for integration on hold for right now. So, we'll see what happens over the next little while with MasterCard and Visa. Obviously, this is a temporary pause. You can see here that they're like, FTX collapse, regulatory environment, et cetera, et cetera. So reasonable to assume that they would want to put something on hold until they get clarity, which is what we all need, right? So once we get a little clarity, then we can move on, and then they will continue to do this adoption, and we'll be trading crypto with our MasterCard and Visa very, very shortly. And then after accurately predicting the global market meltdown, billionaire Chamath Palihapitiya issues a new alert to investors. Now, he says, and by the way, you can go watch this, The State of Investing with Chamath Palihapitiya. And he talks about how these markets are and what he thinks. And this is a billionaire investor. And what he's saying is that, like, this is risk right now. We're dealing with 2 things. One is just that you really have to think about it. If you said 13 months ago that we'd be sitting here today and the Fed would have hiked 500 basis points in 9 months, plus or minus, you would have thought it was crazy. So we're sort of coming into this phase of sobriety, trying to figure out how do we all do our jobs differently? And what does it mean for the investments that we've already put in the ground? For me personally, I think the setup is that it amplifies tail risk. So right now I'm sort of quite cautious because I think there's a left tail risk. The risk is that the S&P earnings are sort of in this one handle of 180 to 185, and all of a sudden the S&P is 3,200, 3,300 points. For 2022, analysts estimate the S&P to print earnings of 291.48. At the time of writing, S&P is trading at 39.82. The second risk is the likelihood that the Fed would keep interest rates high for too long. But there's also this high risk tail where the Fed becomes dovish. Everybody capitulates because it looks like things are slowing down. And now all of a sudden, though, you have to deal with the terminal rates. Now, we just saw that, by the way. This is what we just saw with that 0.25 hike instead of when we did the 25 basis points instead of 50 basis points. That was that dovish sort of move. And then if you remember, the Fed started to calm down on some of what they were saying. And then what ended up happening? What ended up happening is we got incredibly hot inflation numbers showing that we were not handling this at all very well, which leads us to believe that at I think it was 13%, where we were pricing in 25% basis point increase on the next one was 13%. That's now up to 27%. By the time we get closer to the Fed meeting, and by the time we get through this, it's probably going to be 50 or 60. So we're looking at some downward pressure in all markets as they price this in. Now, does that affect crypto? Well, not exactly. Let's go back over here now, and let's start to look at what is going on with Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is the one that leads the market, so that's the one that we're going to focus on for the most part in the beginning of this. And we're seeing here that we've had this move. Look, this kind of sell-off and then retest right here is what we're looking at right now. And if you can see that over here, like we're really kind of redoing exactly what we just did over here, right? So if that makes sense, like we've had this drawdown, then we had this mass sell-off, then we had this consolidation, and then we have this upward sort of move before this parabolic takeoff. Now, that parabolic takeoff, I do think is still on the table, by the way. So I get this sense or this feeling that we're about to experience another nice little run. So let's just say that, from here to here, this kind of plays out just sort of like that. In that context, puts us into that golden pocket. So that's why I'm seeing now. It could be me projecting that that's what's about to happen based on the way this thing is lined up, based on the sentiment, based on all of the little indicators. So this is not long term, by the way. This is short term. On the short term, I think that we're going to get this final run at this little spot right here and get an opportunity to really start to wreck. Now, we'll see what happens, but if you're looking for a pattern to emerge, then the only pattern that you see is one that should disturb you, and that is that we're in this upward channel. And now the one thing that you can say is that we're stair stepping. So we're not in this big rush. It doesn't seem like we're going. So that's the best thing that you can say about it. And if it continues along this path that we're creating right now, and I mean, you kind of look at it and you see a lot of similarity on everything. I mean, like, again, let me just kind of point out that this is looking very familiar with this run up right here, which was this run up right here, a little bit longer, but still a run up. And then you have this downward pressure leading to a drop off a cliff to consolidation, right? Then you see this downward pressure leading to a drop off a cliff, leading to consolidation. And again, it looks like, maybe we're due for like this nice little move to the upside. Now, one of the other pieces is when you see this channel and it's moving upwards, that does tend to break to the downside. So you should always be careful of that. But also taking into account, we just flipped green on the MACD money flow, and we just moved into, and this is the 1 hour, by the way, but you can see right here that we moved into bullish momentum as the RSI has gone over the signal line, which is usually the thing that's going to tell you, hey, everything is starting to move to the positive. Now, it really depends on what it ends up looking like overall. Do we stay in the green? Because you can see here, like we've had little tests here where we've moved, but they don't always seem to play out perfectly. So we'll see how this plays over the next little while, but it looks like we're primed for a decent move. Now the Dow Jones did start off positive and immediately sold down to a negative, and that means that we should probably go look and see what kind of alert we got in the news in the last few minutes. Futures rise ahead of economic data, Tesla ahead, and we don't have anything telling us what is going on. Stock futures are little changed as Wall Street braces for the final trading day of February. It could be, by the way, a sell down on that. And we should probably look right now at the monthly candle on Bitcoin. And here we are. So we've got, of course I did. Now it's time to look at the monthly on Bitcoin. Ooh, it's time to zoom. All right, so here we are with this big candle on the monthly for January. February, in order for us to close red, we're going to have to close, and we're very close right now. We're going to have to close under 23,165, it looks like. $23,123, something like that. So it looks like we could close on the negative. Now, it would be better, obviously, if we got on a nice little run. And we've got, what do we have here? We got 11 hours left, about 10 and a half hours, actually. We got about 10 and a half hours left before the monthly close. So, the question is going to be, obviously, what ends up happening here, and then what does that tell the chart? Now, here is the biggest macroeconomic indicator when you're looking at it right here. This is the monthly MACD. The monthly MACD is telling you right here was a good accumulation period right there, that it all looked like it was changing and it was starting to move to the positive. Now, then you got this big green one, you got another green one here. So are we getting back into a positive money flow? And if that is the case, if we are seeing, look at this, this is the biggest negative outflow that we've seen in a long time, right? So that being said, what happens over here as the months start to progress and we get into this little run here and then this right here, right? So how high does everything go? What does it look like? Well, when we kind of zoom in here, one more thing to point out is that we've not moved into bullish, but you can see this is the signal line kind of going down this way. And you can see this is starting to move its way up. And so you can see a crossover here, maybe May or so. We gotta print this candle, by the way. Once we print this candle, then we'll get a better estimation of what this looks like. Because if this prints a decent candle and it's like right here, or we start to see a little bit better positioning, then you're going to see this move upwards for the 50. For the RSI, I'm sorry, and then you're going to see this signal line probably just kind of continue on its current trajectory. So we might see this crossover pretty early. So that's a pretty good possibility. So, but now let's go to the day chart and look at the day. You can see we're still just stair-stepping our way up. And as long as we're stair-stepping our way up, you can't argue with it because it's still price action moving to the positive. But we are now bleeding money out of the market, and Jesus Christ, we've lost $2 billion in the last few minutes. So that means that the sell-off has commenced. That's going to be one of those days where this might be a shakeout moment for the Dow Jones. So I wouldn't put too much into it, but it could well be that they are trying to shake out. Now you see Luna Classic actually having a positive move. That would mean that the negative sentiment in the market is moving away from Bitcoin and Ethereum for the moment. Now this could all just draw down and be something that happens very quickly. But the other thing is, come back over here and you can look at the 1 hour and you can see how big this candle is. Not a lot of sell down. We still got this resistance point right here, 23.3. It'd be interested to see, will we break under that? If that's the case, then, maybe that's a problem, right? But it doesn't look like it at this point. We closed the market, by the way, at about 1.32 trillion yesterday, 1.032 trillion yesterday. So recapturing a little bit of that before the close would not be the worst thing that happened. And that number was right about 7 o'clock right here, 1.032 trillion. Yeah. So that's where we are. Ethereum, same thing. Ethereum is using the 1630 right now as resistance, right? So you can see that right here. And is just following on the outside of this trend line. I was hoping that we could maybe stay within it, but now it's moved out. So we can probably kind of zoom it outward this way and, start to look at different patterns to emerge. But I mean, realistically, we're either moving up or we're not, right? So, we'll see how this goes over the next little while. But the markets are open and the Dow Jones is just kind of fighting its way through. We just got we just got 2 billion in capital re-enter the crypto market. So they are trying everything right now to invalidate everything I say as I say it. So Jesus Christ, crypto market, stop listening to me and just do your own thing. Ugh. Anyway, so let's move on from that. Crow, not much to say. MX is up again today on another big run. MX is just having a time of it at this point. So more power to them. SHIB, hopefully going to mint a green candle here. But until we get real Shibarium stuff, and listen, there was some stuff yesterday. Treat will not be released along with Shibarium. So, we're starting to get some ideas and some clarity in what's going on. Shibarium's imminent release. We're just kind of twiddling our thumbs and waiting for that moment. Polygon and Volt is listing today. The burn for 30,000 for Volt is tomorrow. So, we got all kinds of stuff happening at the end of the month. Now, let's close that out. And let's go over here and close this again. WAGMI is still trending up 12% for the day. Now that it did kind of close off right at that level. Let's see where we're at. We were at 1.43. So we've earned, 0.43 ETH. Because I think we closed it when we were down here at 1 or 0.9, something like that. We were we're definitely starting to move in the right direction. When Immutable says that they've got something going on, when you start seeing WAGMI defense everywhere on the app stores, then you might know something's up. So I'm just waiting for those WAGMI Genesis NFTs to start paying. You know what I mean? Kato up a little bit to 1343, BRL to 161, MMAI 3807. Saitama 2406. Saitama just had an event, so I'm gonna go watch that a little bit later on, and we'll see how it goes. And Jesus Christ, look at that! That is crazy. Wiz Protocol. Now, Wiz Protocol, by the way, Hocus Pocus is going to be that's going to be the one over on the Pulse chain when it launches. For right now, it's just the Wiz on the Ethereum chain. So if you're looking at staking or anything on the Wiz, that's it's going to take a little while before. Whenever Pulse chain launches, that's when you're going to start to see a wealth of activity. And look, because Wiz is one of the first projects implementing itself as Hocus Pocus on Pulse chain, then I think they're going to do fantastic. And I think that Wiz is just going to have a nice little run of it. Terra 2 is now completed, I think, here. I want to say. And we're at it was at 0.99. Yeah, 0.99. It's still the same. That's weird. Lillian's at 5841, Shib 1242, Volt 1627. And listen, you got, again, you always have that little sell pressure when it doesn't pump, and nobody can understand the difference between, like me, by the way, can understand the difference between bridge liquidity and circulating supply and shit like that. So, we did our best, right? Now you have Decanect 79.07948. Floki down 7% to 48.19. Still looking for Floki to go down to about 36. Bone $1.74. Looking at Bone, I'm gonna buy a bunch of Bone if we get to $1.51. So I got a target and a price set, and based on the way it's trending right now and how it's not pumping over this and it's under the 200 SMA, I'm looking for $1.50. If I get $1.50, I'm going in hard. CMOS coin merge 3307, NGN 95 cents. Just, I mean, listen, this is your community buyback in action. I don't know what to say here, other than the community's not really looking to buy back. They were just looking to accumulate and to scalp each other for profit. That's not optimal, but I mean, that is what happened. So still up 47%, still up 47x overall. And then BET, and that is the bet, by the way. And it is at down 22% on the day, but it's 1528 now. So there we go. All right, so we got through everything. Guys, be very careful in your trading today. This is the last day of the month. There's going to be a lot of sell-off. There's going to be a lot of interesting and crazy moves in this market. I just get this feeling things are going to get kind of crazy. By the way, Jesus Christ, look at this. The market is now up to 1032. The market is now pumping. As a matter of fact, crypto they are pumping the shit out of crypto right now. 23,005 after that bounce off of that. And that, by the way, this line down here, this green line represents that hold line. And then otherwise, we're starting to see a bunch of capital being thrown into crypto. So maybe that's a good sign for the day. I don't know if that maintains. Like we do have target levels, and we do need to see like at 1.04 level start to be hit, and that this 1.032 is used as support instead of resistance, which it's showing as resistance again. Remember, we just talked about this. So if we bust through here, then maybe that's to the good, and then we start seeing another little pump going. But we've got the Ethereum merge, everything's coming. It's all in the it's all right in front of us. So we'll see what happens. But this is not financial advice. My name is Bleeves. I am always right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will talk to you again very, very soon. And I'll see you for bedtime tonight.
I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining like diamonds.